Okay, here you go. Back to a little bit of Wagner. You know, 3-man shield. I can't remember fully if they stayed in it or if they always shifted, but if they stayed in it, we could stay nice and sound. Edge, edge, A gap, and A gap. Everybody has their man. Very simple. We're going to back our D out right there. We didn't think that their long snapper was going to be a huge, huge factor. Now, obviously, we were wrong in that case because he forced the fair catch, but we took our D that's backing out and put him on a most dangerous man, or the first guy that loses, which, boom, is right there, double teaming the gunner. Let me run that back just a touch for you and show you he's double teaming what a team would see as a gunner, and he gets nowhere down the field. So as I was just mentioning, you really, really, in my opinion, want to take care of the most dangerous guys, but also show some presence of we're still going to rush, which is what we were doing right there with our letters, Hollywooding around and then pulling him out to go double team a guy. Okay, again, just count from outside in, right? You might have to bump over. There's a guy flexed out to the right. That's number 2. That is not number 3. So our R3 had to come over to this side of the ball and take that guy, which is completely fine because his rule is count from outside in. So if they're unbalanced like this, which ECU was, and they did a lot, so I mean, we knew it, but if it ever caught you off guard, you just count from outside in. You never count past 4, and you never stop counting on your side. You just keep going. You don't count the snapper, obviously. Okay, so we would bump over, and sometimes we would say the word bump, you know, bump, 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 and get to that side of the ball. But you go do the same job on that side. Now you see what we did there. We put 3 of our letters outside the guard. There's no sense in putting them in the A gaps because we knew that edge was going to be free. So you have 87, 25, and 15 right there are our letters C, D, and B. We obviously have a backside edge over there also, but we wanted to attack him because we knew this guy would block down on number 27. So you can maneuver your letters wherever the heck you want with everybody else being very sound. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, count from outside in. Okay, let me pop that line off there and run it. Claw mirror technique from everybody inside. Pretty darn good. We've gotten them to come down and protect us. Nobody's covering yet except the long snapper. Not a very schematical block. You know, we called D green. We actually almost blocked the kick and had almost nothing to do with, you know, a schematical draw up on the board scheme. We just moved our guys over to where they were, put some pressure on it, and now we've created space in the coverage. Now they've got a very, very, very good punter, so he might have beat us with the punt, but we've created that space if the punt wasn't just a bombed punt right there. Again, we haven't seen any clips yet, right, where there's not guards in there, okay? So, you know, you want to keep those R3s and L3s, your bigger, tougher, really good hold-up guys. Now we went 2 and 2. This is against Houston. We went 2 and 2 on each side. Just giving you guys a couple options, you know, some places you can obviously put your letters and how you can attack people, still drawing things up a little bit, but not having to go crazy and change things up week to week and draw a bunch of different blocks. You can talk to 4 people, your A, B, C, and D, and that's how you can scheme up a block. Again, I thought we had a chance of this. They have a very good punter there. He got it off a little bit quick, and my guy was a little wide on what I was looking for. Okay, let me talk quickly about what we do here. Again, this is in one of my, you know, drill presentations I've done. So look at those. But if you notice those guys on the left, we go inside foot back. Okay, what that will do when that left guard, as we're looking at it, when he goes down, I can take my inside foot and replace his outside foot. So my guys right there, I'm a little upset watching this from 2 years ago, are too wide. Number 28 right there, and I believe it's 22 on his left, need to be much tighter because when he leaves, I'm taking my inside foot, and that's how we gain the most ground. My inside foot replaces his outside foot. And that's how we have the least amount of wasted space. A lot of people flip those feet around and don't do it. But see right there, if we had another yard or so, which, listen, we all say that as coaches, but if you preach that and teach, and that's how we led the nation in block kicks at Northern. That's how we did it. I had a couple guys that were so good at taking that space with our inside foot back, and then our first step being with that inside foot replacing his outside foot, it was easy as heck to block a bunch of kicks there. Okay. The other thing that it's pretty good is it puts a lot of pressure on the punt team and really looks like you're rushing a punt with your demeanor. You're loaded up. Looks like we're coming, so they really protect longer, and then it helps us in the return game. But again, as you see that, if you do it all right, you probably get that punt blocked fairly simply right there. Okay. All right, just another couple of looks at some different formations that we get in our conference. Very simple count on the right, 1, 2, 3. There's a guy flexed out on the left. Love showing you the core pictures here. You look at our demeanor right there. Couldn't tell you right now if we're going to rush that or not, but if I had to bet you, it looks like we are, right? That's what we're trying to really do and really get accomplished. Show that rush demeanor, hold guys up. We only brought 3. Probably was a yellow or a green call right there. But now we're using claw mirror technique all the way down the field. One thing I learned just recently, as I pause it when our guy gets nailed there, well, I just met with the Eagles a couple weeks ago, the Philadelphia Eagles, and I talked to their guys about what they do working down the field, hand combat, iron rod, steel post, whatever. Well, they don't have a lot of contact. What they actually try to do is zigzag. And if you picture an airplane like in a flyover, the way they time it up is they make S turns. So they're going sideways instead of straight ahead. So what they do in the NFL, when guys are in coverage, they try to cut across their face, make them cut, then cut back across their face and make them cut. And we're gaining yardage right there. Instead of trying to hand combat them and, knock his arm down and do all that for 40, 45, 50 yards down the field, just keep zigzagging with him, which means he's not flying full speed down the field. And I just learned that we're actually going to use that this year at camp when we come back in August this year and install that with our players. But it's a really good technique, I think, that you guys can install. Just keep cutting across their face. Okay, another quick look at now actually scheming up a block and using all 4 of our letters to one side. Same game. We already showed them this. We knew they were going to bring a guy in if we showed a certain look. So they brought a guy in, right? Here they come. They do all that, but we knew when he came in who the heck they were going to block. But you can control the letters. We get all 4 of them on one side, and you'll see how this plays out here as we go. Now, before I get too upset and go crazy, I've already gotten my anger out on this. We missed this block. We missed it. Again, and I pride myself on being very good at scheming up blocks, and there's proof in the pudding looking back at film. But the point of this is to show you, by having 4 letters and everybody else not being concerned about the block, let them be hold up guys. You can really coach 4 guys on where you want them to insert, have 1 or 2 calls a week. This is a drastically different call than we had in the block. If you remember the same game, we had the letters split. Heck, we probably called it split go or something, okay? So they were on both sides. Well, now we called the block this week, Cougar, or whatever we called it for the Houston Cougars, and we showed them exactly where they insert. We knew we were going to get 4-on-3 100%. We knew for a fact we were getting 4-on-3 the way they protected it. Now we just executed it poorly without getting onto a pedestal about how to block the kicks. Hopefully a lot of you understand and have seen it, the drill tape I already have done about low and late, block a punt with your eyes first and then your hands, but stay a sprinter. Okay, so all I usually say is stay a sprinter, low and late, block it with your eyes. Okay, this guy clearly does none of that, and you see his hands go straight in the air. That is a 100% block punt schematically, and in this system allows you to do it, but we didn't execute it very well. And I've goofed around with the guy for a while, and our player there, and I got my anger out after, probably during the game. I think I was in the press box at that time and was upset. Who knows how the headset turned out, but it's a good way to show you guys you have a lot of control with 4 players that are very smart and understand. I use running backs, safeties, receivers, whoever has a good knack and understanding for it.